Welcome back to Morrisville, North Carolina, the Triangle Table Tennis Center. We are on day one of the 2017 National Team Trials. Some really amazing matches so far, Matt, and we expect nothing less here in the women's semifinals. Wu Yue and Wang Chen, Olympians.
I'm so excited for this match, and they did play actually very recently at the NCTTA College South Regional, where
Wu Yue and both Wu Yue and well, do you want to call her Jennifer? You want to call her Wu Yue?
Jennifer.
Jennifer and Wang Chen, both playing for Texas Wesleyan now.
That's right.
At 27 and 44, some might call it a second career. Playing in the NCTTAs, both of them for Texas Wesleyan. Matt, congratulations to you also, by the way, for qualifying in your second career.
I know.
For Pillar University. Is it Pillar College?
That's Pillar College.
Pillar College, you and Lily Yip and Timothy Wong qualifying. But let's talk about what's going on here today, Matt. We have the women's semifinals of day one of the tournament. For those of you who are just joining us, the team trials are 3 individual one-day tournaments, and it's a winner-take-all format where win and you go on to the World Championships, lose and you have to turn around tomorrow and start all over again.
Right.
It was very interesting, Matt, and you've got 4 really good players, right? So 3 out of our 4 finalists are Olympians: Lily Zhang, Wu Yue, and Wang Chen. We saw this at Olympic trials, Matt, which played in the same format. Make it all the way to the finals and lose, it's very difficult to bounce back for some of the older players. For the younger players, a little bit more resilient, like you saw it from Canuck last year at Olympic trials, where he bounced back fairly well after a couple of losses in the finals. But I would think that for some of the older players, when I say older, I mean I'm 50, right? So I mean, you're all young to me. But for some of the older players, they want to get this done in one day, and they don't want to have to worry about days 2 and 3.
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's a lot of requires a lot of physical energy to play at your very best, and the longer it goes on, the longer it takes your body to recover, and it can be quite exhausting.
So let's just remind everybody, Jennifer, 2015 Pan American Championship, went into the tournament as the last seed in the tournament.
Unranked.
Unranked. And turned around, won Pan American Games, automatic qualification to the Olympics.
Actually, I think the second American athlete across all sports to qualify for the Rio Olympic Games.
That's correct, and the first woman, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
And she'll be facing off against Wang Chen. The 2 of them know each other. Both play in the New York area. Wang Chen, of course, arguably one of the most successful women in USATT history, has won national championships, quarterfinals, the Olympics, both in 2008 in the teams and the singles. This is somebody who knows how to play at an extraordinarily high level. I was talking earlier today to somebody who knew her back in 2008 and 2004, said that she's in this terrific shape now, and she was in terrific shape then. So we're getting started here. Her I would say patented, but I don't think it is patented. Her high ball toss serve, which tends to give people some trouble. Let's just also be honest, Matt. She has had some issues with American officiating. So Wu Yue up 2-0, but Wang Chen has had some issues with her service, and being faulted. And I've heard that American officials can be a little stricter on the service rules than internationally. So Wu Yue taking a 3-0 lead here in game 1.
So, of course, their last matchup in the final of the women's singles at the South Regional for National College Table Tennis, Jennifer won the match 4-1.
So 2 women who play in the New York area for 2 Southern colleges playing in the South Regional, now facing off here in Morrisville, North Carolina.
Of course, for all of our Facebook viewers, if you have any questions about the match or about this event, please feel free to comment. We'll do our best to answer your questions.
If you're just joining us, Matt, Wu Yue a little bit more of a difficult road getting here.
Yeah.
Went 7 with Grace Yang, which I think everybody was a little bit surprised about.
6
with,
but it was, maybe it was 7.
I believe it was 7,
I
Matt.
think it was 7. I must have written that down wrong.
And Wang Chen, of course, well, that's what happens when you don't write things down. It was 7. I believe it was 11.
But a fairly decisive last 2 games for Wu.
I think it was 11-4.
Yeah, 1 and 4. But I mean, you know, in these tournaments, it really depends what you take out of a close match, and maybe someone with less experience would kind of get the jitters and think, well, you know, maybe I'm not playing that well. But every match you play and every step you get closer to that chance of playing for your national team, kind of you take things away from it and just hope to play better in the next round. And you know, I mean, Jennifer's got enough experience to know that every single match is different, and she'll hit the reset button and come back out here and do her best.
By the way, Brian Pace, head coach here at Triangle Table Tennis Center, not joining us without a microphone again, but doing a great job on the interview with the Dar Al-Guedi after his win. A terrific interview. So Jennifer taking a 6-3 lead here in the first game. We've been looking forward to this matchup all day, Matt, as soon as we saw the draws. Of course, her coach, Santo Shi, clapping in her corner. Jennifer taking a 7-3 lead. Maybe, Matt, it was good for her to face a little bit of adversity in her match with Grace.
You know, I mean, sometimes it serves as a wake-up call. You know, you don't want to, if the road to the final is too difficult, then, I mean, if it's too easy, then, you know, sometimes you get complacent, and sometimes just having that person who kind of comes out of nowhere and blindsides you unexpectedly.
My guess is, Matt, also you know, for somebody like Wu Yue, who didn't have to play a first-round match, it sort of shakes your head from the cobwebs out of your head a little bit, right? You have to travel to get here.
I mean, it's very similar to, I remember Ariel Shing playing Li Xiaoxia in the London Olympics, and it was Li Xiaoxia's first match, and Ariel managed to play so well against her and win 2 games, which was better than any other player who played against her in that competition.
But you know, Grace, as I said, Grace had the advantage of playing a first-round match today, which not every
and even that match, you know, there were moments where she was pushed. So
yeah. So anyway, Wang Chen's battled back to 7-7 here. Nice comeback. She was down 7-3.
We have one question here. What happened to Lily? This is the first semi-final. We're actually on the bottom half of the draw, so this is the second semi-final. Over on table 2, Lily is currently playing Amy Wang in the other semi-final.
If I'm not mistaken, you can find that stream on our website, USATT.org. There's an event page.
All of the draws as well, updated draws at the end of every round.
Wow, Wang Chen, that's the last 6 points she's just won. Really a great comeback here in game 1 so far. Jennifer had a 7-3 lead at one point. Oh, it's interesting that we saw earlier Amy Wang playing in her quarterfinal match, and not as much power. We're seeing 2 players here that seem to play with a lot of power. A little bit atypical of what we've seen through the day from other female players.
You can see there's going to be a real focus here for Jennifer in finding that elbow, especially when she has Wang Chen on her forehand, because it just, you know, I mean, without seeming rude, once your footwork kind of deteriorates a little bit, and you're not as fast to get to that ball, it definitely takes a lot of the pressure off the ball.
But Wang Chen seems to, Matt, correct me, if she seems to play more of a spin game than you see from most other women. She'll take one step off the table instead of being right up on the table, and she'll heavy loop, as opposed to what we saw earlier from Amy, or even what we see from Jennifer, which is a little flatter ball.
Right. Yeah, well, I mean, she knows that it's a more steady game for her, and you know, she is capable of hitting faster and more powerfully when she wants.
Jennifer, of course, catching the net there to take it to deuce. Of course, our great video staff working today. Jonathan Humbles on the camera from Butterfly. David Delvecchio doing a great job, as he always does, with our live streaming. There was an example, Matt, it looked like, of the footwork that you talked about.
Yeah, I mean, Jennifer's really going to have to focus, and you can see that she's focusing a lot on placement. You know, she'll go wide to the backhand where Wang Chen has short pips, and, you know, she'll go to the body and she'll go into that forehand corner. And
Wang Chen battles back to deuce in the first. Again, we are in game one of the women's semifinals. We have our two men's finalists coming up next here on table one. Wang Chen taking the ad. It's interesting that, and comment on this if you would, it seems like these are more sheer power players, whereas we've seen other, you saw it from Adar who backed off a little bit. You saw it from Amy Wong in her quarterfinal match.
I mean, these are much more experienced players at an international senior level. And you see.
So Wang Chen takes game one.
Decades of experience there following through in the first game.
Battling back. She was down 7-3 here in the first game, Matt. She battles back. And again, we talked about this earlier. This is, you know, for somebody, as you talked a little bit about the footwork going a little bit, this is, day one is their opportunity, right?
Right.
She doesn't want to get into days 2 and 3.
I think she'll be very conscious of that as well.
Jonathan Humbles again laughing at us for some reason. Not sure if you can hear us, Jonathan, can you? I don't think we said something funny, did we? But I'm here with Matt Hetherington, and we are at the 2017 National Team Trials here in Morrisville, North Carolina, at the beautiful Triangle Table Tennis Center. This is one of 2 women's semifinals matches. This is Wang Chen out of New York, out of Wang Chen Table Tennis Club, playing against Wu Yue, 2 Olympians. Wang Chen, of course, the Olympic quarterfinalist in 2008. Wu Yue, Pan Am champion last in 2015 and a 2016 Rio Olympian. Wang Chen battling back from down 7-3 in the first game to take game one. So Wang Chen serving here, 1-0. Oh, excuse me. Wu Yue serving, down 1-0. Here we go, game 2, Matt. Wang Chen catches an edge.
There are definitely going to be some high-paced rallies. I think the length of the rallies and the pace might pick up a little bit as we head into the match here.
Beautiful wide forehand from Wang Chen.
We were talking about in the women's quarterfinal about how the height of players can create an advantage, and you can just see that.
Well, there's the reach.
Playing over the table, and even with reach, she can still counter the ball really well and really quickly.
That time, Jennifer, it looked like she went at the body. Didn't allow Wang Chen to reach out and hit that wide forehand that stung her on the point before. We have a great angle on that serve. So the high ball toss serve takes an enormous amount of concentration.
Don't see that every day.
Yeah, she looked out into space and said, "What just happened?"
Yeah. Very well set up ball though. She got a great angle, wide to the backhand.
Pouillet, of course, playing at Texas Wesleyan, but also played professionally in France this year.
Right, and I believe she's actually going back after the trial before the College Nationals in Wisconsin, which is April the 7th and 8th.
In beautiful Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Have you ever been to Eau Claire?
Ask me again in a couple of weeks. Definitely seeing a lot of unforced errors from Jennifer that, you know, you wouldn't usually expect from her.
It's interesting. Wait till after the point. Let point there. Wang Chen doesn't seem to want to let Jennifer get comfortable. Seems to be trying to keep her off a little bit. And you saw it, the one high ball that she missed. Just doesn't seem comfortable at the table right now.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see she's kind of pushing around a little bit and being a little more patient, and Jennifer doesn't really seem to be that confident with her opening ball. She's missed quite a few, which some people might think were a little easier, especially for a player of her caliber.
Wow. We're cooking that one.
Very, very good change of direction there at the end, but
Wang Chen up 7-2 here in game 2 with a 1-0 lead over Wu Yue.
Yeah, see that half long ball, she's just kind of feeding the push to her and
not letting her get a full stroke at the ball, or letting her overhit the ball.
I just feel like she's not quite settled in on her shots. You wouldn't expect players of this level to miss their first opening ball. For Wang Chen. Has built up quite a decisive lead in this set. There's that squeeze into the elbow. Wang Chen's looking in pretty good shape in the backhand-to-backhand exchanges.
Well, we've said that in the last 2 matches and been proven wrong. I think if there's one thing that we've learned here, Matt, is a match is not over till it's over.
That's right.
And we've seen some incredible matches, some incredible comebacks just here in day 1. And the great thing is, I've said this before, I'll say it again, we've got 2 more days ahead of us. That is if you'll put up with me for 2 more days. So Wang Chen serving here, 9-5 in the second with a 1-0 lead.
See even these small, subtle changes in placement, even when you're going backhand to backhand, sometimes just moving the ball placement by 1 inch or 2 inches can make such a big difference.
So Jennifer's battling back here. She was down, I believe, 9-4, if I'm not mistaken. Has now gotten to 9-7, and she's got the service. Matt, in the women's game, is the service a big advantage?
I don't think gender really matters. I feel like serve, if you have a good serve, it'll give you a distinct advantage.
So this is
in the men's or women's game.
This is something interesting, Matt, that we've seen a lot from more and more, is the placement of the timeout when you have the lead as opposed to the timeout when you may be down. Or granted, in table tennis, Matt, you only get 1 timeout per match.
Right.
So the timing of that timeout is crucial. So Wang Chen probably saying was up 9-5. She's back in the match. I would think, Matt, that she's looking at this game too as a crucial game.
Right. I mean, when you're playing best of 7 and you're in the semi-final of a national trial, there's quite a distinct difference between being up 2-0 and being drawn at 1-1. And, you know, having that early lead gives you somewhat of a psychological advantage sometimes. But she'll most definitely want to be up 2-0 instead of, you know, giving Jennifer a chance of drawing the match up.
Again, a shout out to our officials who are doing a great job as always. So Jennifer serving down 7-9 here in the second. She was down 9-5, 9-4, I think, at one point. Wang Chen showing some emotion there.
Seems that quite a few of the players today out here have really struggled with the slower paced ball. You know, especially in the last match, Victor Liu wasn't able to handle the...
Well, I saw you talking to him after the match. Did you talk to him about that? Was that an issue for him?
I mean, you don't really go into specifics of those kind of issues after you lose an important match like that. I think he was just a little disappointed at having such a good chance of making the final. And, you know, I mean, every player here is here because they want to be in the national team. And just, you know, when you open up a chance to play through to the final and have a shot at be playing one other person for a direct qualification, having a 3-0 lead and not being able to convert it is pretty disappointing. We're going to see here if Wang Chen's timeout capitalizes.
Interesting that Wang Chen, we all know about her high ball toss serve. She was up 10-8. She didn't go with the high ball toss serve. Is that because she wants to get in the... What's going on there?
I mean, you know, maybe it's possible that she wanted to try something different. I mean, you know, when you get to a pressure situation, you're always trying to look for advantages if you have them, or so especially, you know, if you have the serve, you don't want to do something that your opponent's expecting you to do.
Just as we saw Wang Chen battle back in game 1, we're now seeing Jennifer battle back in game 2 here. There's the high ball toss serve. It seems to me...
And a good follow-up, too.
It seems like her bread and butter. It seems like her go-to serve when she needs to win a point. That's why I was surprised that up 10-8 she didn't do it either time. She's so strong tactically, though, isn't she, Wang Chen? I mean, she's a long career. And
well, you know, at one point in her career, she was one of the top female players in the world. And
top 20.
That's right. And, you know, she's been all the way to the end of some very high-level tournaments.
The Olympics.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, Asian Cup and a lot of, you know, World Tour events. And she certainly knows how to compose herself and what kind of tactics she needs to use when she's in a pressure situation.
And Matt, she's done a great job building her club in New York, building table tennis in New York, up on 104th Street.
And, you know, for her to be playing and competing now, it just shows that there are some players that just really just relish the competition. And I think she's a player that is just so passionate about the sport. And, you know, if you can keep playing and keep continuing to play at this high level, even if you are over 40, then, you know.
Samsonov, same way, right?
Right, exactly. I mean, if you love the game, you got to keep fighting.
Cool. So Jennifer battles back. At one point, she was down 9-5 in that game to take the deuce, and I believe that's back-to-back deuce games, but we're tied up here at 1 apiece. This is the women's semifinals. Looks like we're going to be getting a note from Brian Pace.
Of course, there's a few people asking where Lily Zhang is. She is playing on table 2.
She's up 9-8 in the 4th and 10-8 in the 4th over Amy Wang. Match point over there. Lily is up 3-0. Lily with the win if she wins, and we've seen it happen, people coming back, but if Lily wins, she will advance to the women's finals. As a reminder, the women's finals will be on table 1 at 7 o'clock tonight.
One more question here. Does this tournament have anything to do with the Olympic trials? Not this tournament. The Olympics, of course, 2016 last year. This tournament qualifies players to the 2017 World Championships.
3 tournaments, actually. It's the Worlds, the Pan American Cup, and the Pan American Championship this tournament does. By the way, for those asking about Lily, she did just won 11-9 in the 4th and has advanced on to the finals, which will take place at 7 o'clock tonight. Brian Pace, he's not the head coach here for nothing.
So we have a little note from Brian here.
Brian gets a fist bump for that.
Saying Wang Chen is having problems winning the point when she opens first.
She has down game point. She has saved me twice.
We're back here live. 1-1. Wang Chen and Wu Yue. Both players battling back from deficits. In games 1 and 2 to tie it up, both of them winning a deuce in each of their respective games. As a reminder, we'll be back here after the women's semifinal here on table 1 with the men's final, Adar Algueti and Nicholas Teo. The backhand-to-backhand rally seems to be the signature of this match so far.
It's very common in the women's game. I mean, once you get into high pace, both players sometimes want to stay away from the forehand side where there might be a little bit more power. And
am I correct, Matt, in saying that Wu Yue wants to play more of a power game? Wang Chen wants to control the table a little bit more. Oh, there's Brian.
Oh, yeah. Brian.
Our courtside reporter. We can hear you. Brian Pace joining us. Brian, you have to hold the button down. Oh, yeah, just hold it down. Brian, welcome to the broadcast team. Who's they? Yeah, we're only talking among ourselves right now, Brian. Welcome to the broadcast team.
Okay, there's a little technicality.
Right, thank God David Delvecchio's here.
So
now
Jennifer Wu.
We now have the voice in our ears. Evidently, they can't hear him, but we can.
Jennifer Wu is 5-1 up here.
Brian, welcome to the team anyway. So Wu Yue up 5-2 here in the 3rd game. Again, tied 1-1. Lily's match was quick over there, Matt. 20 minutes. 4-0 win to advance to the finals. The winner of this match will play Lily in the finals of day 1.
So Brian's talking about Wang Chen kind of placing the ball more and allowing Jennifer to open that ball first and counter rather than trying to make the first opening herself.
Guys, this game will be interesting because we've seen in each of the first 2 games, one player take a lead, the other battle back, get it to deuce, and that player who's
we're
battling
seeing
back,
that right now.
Yeah, well, we saw Jennifer with a 5-2 lead, Wang Chen battling back to 5-5. It's an up and down, and again, Matt, we talked about this in the previous match. The 11-point game with the service changing every 2 points allows for this sort of very quick and sudden comeback.
Right. Yeah, I mean, you can be winning 9-5 and then the match can be over and you've lost. It's such a...
Well, I'm usually not winning 9-5, but I know the feeling of losing matches very well.
She just seems to be kind of trying to force that backhand a little bit too much and reaching.
The
timing's a little out, the positioning's a little out. And she definitely has a plan. You can see she wanted to take the ball fast, wide to the backhand, and then go straight across to the forehand. But so far, still quite a few unforced errors.
So, folks, we're 6.
It's so interesting. You can just see the tactics at play, but they're just regularly ending in errors from Jennifer. You could just see her edging Wang Chen towards the middle on her backhand and then trying to play out wide once the space was open. But
so, Matt, you mentioned the timing, Jennifer's timing being a little off. How much of that is Wang Chen dictating the pace versus, like we saw?
I mean, yeah, I mean, she is a short pips player on her backhand, and a lot of the time when you're playing against short pips, you can get a slightly slower ball, or, you know, maybe dead ball where there's less spin on it. And sometimes the ball can dip a little bit as well. So there is a lot of difficulty being able to keep a rhythm when you're playing against a short pips player.
Yeah, the other interesting thing I'm seeing, Matt, is Jennifer's trying to go wide, but Wang Chen, her reach is so tremendous that she can cover the table at the table, and it's taking that angle away. And you just saw it on that last point. Jennifer tried to play the angle. Wang Chen was just there with you. Right. She's so, her table coverage is so
and she
good.
has such good touch in her hands. A lot of players that kind of get stretched out wide really have trouble adapting and adjusting their angle to the ball, but when you have as much experience as Wang Chen, it's...
Matt, why are we seeing more and more female players going to long pips on the backhand?
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of women players struggle to generate their own power, and remember I was saying a lot earlier on when Amy Wong was playing, you know, some of these players are very comfortable when people feed them a lot of speed or a lot of power, and they just kind of catapult the ball back and counter, whereas when they're given nothing, or, you know, when they're playing against slower or more awkward styles, they find it very difficult to kind of transfer weight. You know, maybe they don't have as much muscle build.
So was that an example right there of the long pips playing into the return, where Jennifer playing against an inverted player might see more topspin coming back on that ball with the block?
The short pips.
Yeah, the short pips, sorry.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, I have quite a lot of experience with it from practicing with Lily Yip. That is very tight.
So we've seen essentially what boils down to 3 deuce games so far. Wang Chen winning game 1, Jennifer winning game 2, and Wang Chen battling back again. This is a theme now in this match. One player takes an early lead in the game, the other player comes back and seems to win the game. So now Wang Chen with a 2-1 lead. I would think, Matt, that this is going to be the most crucial match of the game, particularly for Wang Chen. She doesn't want to go 2-2. I think, you know, Jennifer maybe, and I don't know this, I'm asking, it's a question, may be a little bit more comfortable going down 3-1. I don't think Wang Chen wants to go 2-2 here.
It depends. I mean, on some occasions when a player is 2-2, they might be a little more competitive. I would definitely say, I don't think Jennifer would want to be in a position where she's down 3-1.
I'm just saying, I don't think anybody wants to be down 3-1 to Wang Chen, right? I don't think that's the case. But I'm just thinking mentally right now, I don't think Wang Chen wants to go 2-2.
Right.
Here.
No, I mean, you know, no. When a player has a lead, they don't want to get rid of their lead.
I mean, look, let's face it, Wang Chen has so much international experience. She'll play any match score, any match, any game score. She'll come out and play, and she's going to compete. I'm just thinking again, as we've talked about the grueling nature of a tournament like this, where it's 3 individual one-day tournaments, and there's really no break. You can't take your foot off the gas.
Right, and you want to play in an efficient manner. I mean, remember, whoever wins this match has Lily Zhang waiting in the final for them, so that's another really difficult match against the top seed of the tournament.
Except remember that because there are 4 places to play for, there is a premium placed on making it to the semifinals. So the fourth player in this tournament format, the fourth player is going to get points for making it to the final, for being the other finalist. And then at the end of the weekend, whoever has the most essentially cumulative points is going to be the fourth player on the team. So while certainly you're right, Matt, nobody wants to go all the way to the finals and lose and have to turn around the next day and play again. There is a premium placed on that the first finalist. So 1-1, as this is a very close match. Wang Chen serving 2-1, 1-1 here in the fourth. It's interesting for me to see, Matt, also. Occasionally Wang Chen will float with her with her short pips. She'll float a backhand, particularly when Jennifer's serving short. And Jennifer seems to be overhitting the ball.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult ball to judge, especially when you're playing against a short pips player who's pushing. Sometimes they can impart a reasonable amount of spin on the ball, and sometimes there can be nothing on the ball at all. And it's the reason why a lot of particularly Chinese defensive players have started switching from using long pips in their chopping game to using short pips. It's a little bit more difficult to read the spin variation.
But there's no deception, right? So aren't long pips more of a deceptive rubber? Short pips are a little bit more linear?
With the sponge, not necessarily. Short pips, it's easier to mask no spin with short pips because you can kind of control how much spin you're putting on the ball. With long pips, you're kind of relying on the other player's ball a little bit more.
Again, Matt, there we saw Wang Chen backing off the table a little bit more than we see with other women.
There's that forced backhand again.
So we're 3-3 here in the fourth game. Wang Chen serving, up 2-1. You folks can't hear Brian, but he can hear me. Brian, it'd be interesting to get your opinion on Wang Chen using the high ball toss as opposed to the lower toss serve, and whether you've seen any trends there. Matt, you want to? So Brian's observation, which I thought was a really good one, is on the high ball toss, Jennifer tends to spin the ball back as opposed to attacking the ball back, giving Wang Chen an opportunity to attack that slower, spinnier ball, and Wang Chen seems to be having some success with that. Nice. So here we go again. So Wang Chen with a 5-3 lead. As we've seen now in each of the games, one player takes the lead, the other comes back. Let's see if the trend continues here in game 4. Jennifer serving down 4-5, down 1-2 here in the fourth game of the women's semifinal.
Wow, great play.
So Jennifer
like
again
playing join the dots.
Connect the dots.
Yeah.
In the United States, we call it connect the dots.
So, I mean, you were asking me before about how important the serve was, and you could just see how that point started from the serve, and the long, fast serve to the body kind of opened up that whole play.
It's interesting to me, Matt, just watching the last 2 points, the contrast. Jennifer seems to have more success when she can get Wang Chen to back off the table. Her angles seem more effective. When Wang Chen is up at the table like she was just at that point, she almost seems to be able to cut those angles off.
Well, I mean, the further back from the table you go, the greater distance you have to cover to get to those wide balls. If Wang Chen can stay close to the table, where her height is a really big advantage to her reach, she's able to control, you know, from almost both corners of the table. But once she starts getting pushed back a little, her reach kind of becomes a little less effective.
There's a backhand to backhand rally. Jennifer serving down 5-8 here in the fourth, down 2-1. As a reminder, coming up next, the men's finals of day one. So there was, again, she got her to back off the table a little bit, and she was then able to find the angle to drive the ball by her.
Right. And, you know, it's not as easy as it looks to make a close table player back off. So she's really got to initiate. It's really about finding which first ball can kind of open up that shift of balance to push her back. And a lot of the time against a player that's that tall, it's the body ball.
But we're seeing those contrasting points. One point she gets her to back off the table, the other point she's up at the table, and Wang Chen seems to be handling it much better. But the odd thing to me, it's not odd, but to in a second. Wang Chen doesn't seem uncomfortable off the table because she plays a spinnier ball.
Right, she does have a higher arc on her ball, but at the same time, the further back you go from the table, the less effective a short pips backhand gets. So, you know, attacking with short pips and playing short pips backhand, you really want to be closer to the table.
I would think
a good spot there.
Matt, does Jennifer want her to play her forehand more so she can stay away from the short pips? Because inverted, I would think, is a little bit more readable and linear.
Right. I mean, for a player like Jennifer, I don't think she'd be hugely uncomfortable with playing to the short pips, but at the same time, she's kind of able to play over the forehand ball a little bit easier. She looks like she's kind of struggling to dominate these backhand exchanges with Wang Chen. And
so she wants her to turn around to the forehand because it seems like she's able to attack and play more of a power game when she can get Wang Chen to...
Right. I mean, and the thing is, once you're in these backhand exchanges, it's about how you get out of them. And so far, like, Jennifer's been looking for maybe a little bit wider ball or maybe back into the elbow or wide. But unfortunately, she's been making most of her unforced errors there, and it's made quite a big difference.
So as we've seen in each of the first 3 games, player goes down, players battles back. We get at or near deuce, and here we go. This is game 4. Wang Chen serving down 9-10. I'm going to be interesting to see what serve she uses here. Jennifer battles back. Again, we saw Wang Chen with the low ball toss serve. As Brian correctly pointed out, she was having more success countering off the high ball toss, right? Because she was getting Jennifer to loop the high ball toss serve. And if you remember, Matt, back in game 2, Wang Chen was up 10-8.
And went with for the lower toss serve,
two lower toss serves and ended up at deuce. So the same thing here again. So we're tied 2-2. This is the women's semifinals. Wang Chen playing out of the Wang Chen Table Tennis Club in New York. A Olympic quarterfinalist in 2008 in the women's teams and the women's singles. Playing against Wu Yue at a Texas Wesleyan University. She's also playing professionally over in France right now. And we've got a match. Buckle up, because we've got a match. As Brian just pointed out to me, they are, and Matt, love your opinion on this, very evenly matched, both tactically and in terms of momentum. And I think Brian has a great point. There are a lot of momentum shifts in a match like this.
Yeah.
And we've seen it in every game now where the one player will get out to a lead, the other player will battle back, and all of a sudden we're sitting here 9-9, 10-10.
Right. Nobody's, I mean, one of the things that, and it's interesting how having a tactically even match and momentum work together, and that it's not just about building momentum, it's about the other player changing their tactics in order to stop the momentum and then change the game more in their favor. And it's just kind of been a back and forth of momentum, changing tactics. And
so Wang Chen serving here in game 5, 0-0, 2-2 in game score. The high ball toss serve again. It will be interesting to see if Wang Chen can reassert her pips, which she seemed to lose towards the end of the last game. So we saw the high ball toss serve in the last one. High ball toss serve again. She was able to assert herself off the counter with the pips and come back and win the second point of the game.
She definitely exerts so much confidence on her backhand as well. Like she doesn't really back off her shots. You know, there's no hesitation. She's very, very concise with her strokes and, you know, confident enough to come all the way across the middle of the table, still playing backhand.
So there we saw her, Wang Chen, try and step around and hit a forehand and caught the edge of her paddle. So as Brian correctly pointed out, another momentum shift, right? So Jennifer battles back. Oh. The net, nice return, and Wang Chen just stepped around and, whoop.
Guys, when one person goes up big and the other person comes back and wins the game, they win the game, and after the game, the person that lost that game realized what they did wrong, and that's why they go up big in the next game.
That's an interesting point. If you look, Matt, at the momentum of the game, it seems that every time somebody loses a game after being up a game, they're turning around and coming back and jumping out to another lead, because it's almost like, I know what I did wrong, I'm going to make this adjustment, right? And then the other player taking some time to adjust back to that.
And it does take time, but we have seen, I think most of the momentum shifts have kind of occurred around this point, around the middle of the match. So
5-3,
it becomes very
6-3.
interesting now when we're looking at 6-1 to see if perhaps Wang Chen might have a little bit more of a grasp on this game or on this match as a whole.
Well, I think we're going to learn a lot in the next 3 points, 2 or 3 points, right?
Or 4.
Well, now we're at 7-1, right? And this, to your point, it's in every game it's been at the 5-3, 6-2, 7-3 point where we've seen these momentum shifts.
This is, I would say, the biggest difference in points we've seen so far.
Yeah, if you look at it, Wang Chen is saying, how did I lose that last
So
game?
Wang
And
Chen
Jennifer
taking an
saying,
8-2 lead.
Yeah, Jennifer's saying, I stole that game, and she's keeping the same strategy. And Wang Chen is changing and jumping up big. Before Jennifer saying, oh, I think I need to make another switch here, but it looks like
This
she's
is
not going to get it this game.
this is the biggest lead we've seen in this match so far at 9-1. And Matt, there's not one thing I can put my finger on to say this is the difference, other than Jennifer's caught a couple nets that have flown off the table, and Wang Chen again seems to be reasserting the pips.
There's definitely, she's applying a lot more pressure, kind of no matter where Jennifer plays on the table. She has her balance and her body weight kind of behind the ball. Like even when Jennifer was pushing her across the middle, which sometimes when you're playing backhand players, if they come across the middle on their backhand, their shot doesn't generally have as much force behind it, but she's so committed to her shot, she really gets her body behind the ball.
There we saw an
Yeah, you can see it there.
Well, but there we saw an example of what we talked about earlier with the high ball toss leading to Jennifer with the spinnier return, and Wang Chen then asserting herself off the counter.
Right, and I mean it's a little bit easier for her to cover the spin when she's returning with her short pips.
So Jennifer serving here 4-10, 2-2. This is the women's semifinals. As a reminder, Lily Zhang has already advanced to the women's finals on day 1. Again, we saw, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but she got Wang Chen to back off 2 steps off the table and was able to drive that angle to the wide forehand, which she has not been able to do when Wang Chen is up at the table.
The best thing for Jennifer she can actually have some momentum going into the next game.
So it's a great time now. I mean, a lot of players, when the other person gets to 10, they kind of think, okay, this game's over. Maybe you just lose this point and concentrate on the next match. But when you're talking about players who have kind of swapped momentum shifts so frequently, the best thing right now for Jennifer to try and be doing is just pushing her case and building up some positive momentum going into the next set, so maybe she can take a lead at the start of this game instead of Wang Chen.
So this, again, another crucial point. Jennifer's going to want to jump out early. And this was obviously the biggest win we've seen so far in this match. I mean, look at the scoreboard on your computer at home. You'll see every other game has essentially either gone to deuce or been 11-9. Wang Chen took a commanding lead in this game, and this is the first time we've seen one of the players hold on. You got to think Jennifer's got to be thinking about those first 5 points. Ed Hogshead, who I think, great coach, great tournament director, when Ed is helping me in matches, he says when you have a game like that in a close match where maybe you lose sight of it, your first 5 points in that next game are the most important 5 points that you've got to focus on.
That's right, yeah. I mean, well, as well as the first 5 points, you've got to get into the mindset of going straight off the mark. You can't really afford to ease into the game. You know, especially when you're at the later stages of the match, every point can make such a big difference.
Just looking at the comments on Facebook Live, and don't forget if you are watching at home on Facebook Live, send us your comments. So we're back here in Game 6. Wang Chen leading 3-2. Pair of Olympians facing off here. Matt, it looked like Wang Chen was able to assert herself mentally in that last game, where there was no letdown, right?
Right.
There was no momentum swing.
She definitely played with a lot of confidence. You could see, you know, even when she wasn't in position, there was no hesitance behind any of her shots. And
just a reminder to stay with us after this match. Brian Pace is going to be doing another on-court interview. The winner of this match will advance to the finals tonight to take on Lily Zhang. We are going to run a little bit late. It's 5 minutes to 6 right now. We were scheduled to start the men's finals at 6. So my guess is we'll probably be running about 15 minutes late. But after this match, which has been a fun match to watch, don't forget to stay with us. Brian's going to do an on-court interview with the winner of this match. And we're 1-1 right now here in the 6th. There it was. I mean, Brian nailed it earlier, right? When Wang Chen, the high ball toss serve, Jennifer a slow spinning loop back, it allows Wang Chen to counter, and counter with the pips.
It's difficult for Jennifer to deal with a ball like that because she needs to be a little bit more assertive on the serve receive, but at the same time, when she's taken risks throughout this match, some of them haven't really paid off for her. So I feel like she might be playing a little bit too safe on the serve return.
Jennifer serving 2-3. We've seen Jennifer get away from playing at Wang Chen's forehand, Matt.
I still think that in terms of the tactics you can see, wow, great rally.
That time she got her to play the forehand at the body, which left the ball open for her to attack wide. And since Wang Chen, again, I might sound like a broken record, when she gets Wang Chen off the table, she's having success to the wide forehand.
I think Jennifer really needs to look at just being a little more consistent when she's finding gaps and when she's looking for spaces to kind of exploit. At the moment, we've seen her, once she starts changing and looking for a gap, she's tried to force the ball a little bit.
That's the first time I've seen that topspin serve to the deep backhand. That seemed to catch Jennifer a little bit off guard. So this, again, is one of those crucial points in the game that we've seen the momentum swing back and forth. Again, wide to the forehand when she's off. I mean, you can see where Wang Chen is standing right now. She's 4 or 5 feet off the table. And that's when Jennifer's been effective. The question, Matt, for you is how does Jennifer get her to back off the table more?
I mean, it's like we talked about before. I mean, you can see really clearly that Wang Chen's playing a lot of backhand from the middle of the table. And, I mean, she kind of uses backhand to cover maybe a little bit of a weakness in the middle of the table.
So what? Hopefully we'll see at this point where I'm seeing what the point play. Where I'm seeing Jennifer effective is when she can, and you can't see it at home, but when she can get Wang Chen at the right elbow and get her to hit a forehand off the right elbow.
It pulls her across.
To Jennifer's wide forehand, which also pulls her across, but it also backs her off the table. So Wang Chen now up 7-5.
You see that Jennifer's choosing to not even attack that back. She just wants to push it down because she understands the attack is coming.
Jennifer is not looping that ball back. She's trying to push it back because she's afraid Wang Chen, who's been so effective at that counter, with her backhand counter.
And Jennifer using a timeout now, 5-8 down.
Sitting and handicapping this match, I've got to think Jennifer has to be thinking about how to play right at that right elbow, right? And instead of getting the backhand off that right elbow, getting her to use her forehand off that right elbow, because that's where she's been successful, hitting the winner and getting Wang Chen to back off the table, right?
Right. You know, especially when she can get her to turn, it's kind of finding the point where Wang Chen will turn from her backhand to her forehand. When she finds that spot, usually after the first forehand, Wang Chen will stay on her forehand, and you can kind of squish her a little bit more in her elbow, and that gives Jennifer a good chance to kind of really get her stuck and then play out wider.
So don't forget, we do have more table tennis. 2 more matches coming tonight.
Two finals.
2 finals.
2 big matches.
2 huge matches. Again, the way this competition is structured, it's win or go home. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's win or come back tomorrow.
Right.
And start all over again and hit the reset button. You know, perhaps on the men's side, it's going to be a little bit more difficult because you have the extra round, right? So tomorrow there will only be 2 first-round matches on the women's draw.
Right.
Because there will only be 10 players left in the draw.
Right.
On the men's side, you got to start with the round of 16 all over again. So here we go. Jennifer Wu coming out of her timeout, serving down 5-8 here in Game 6. So
what a way to come back from a timeout.
Yeah, great way to come. But it's interesting there, Matt. She was trying to sucker Wang Chen into stepping around and hitting the forehand. And Wang Chen came back with the forehand. Instead of to Jennifer's forehand, she went back to the forehand to the backhand and didn't let her attack it wide.
Right. I mean, Wang Chen has a difficult choice whereby she either has to kind of keep coming across that backhand middle, or she has to choose to play a forehand.
It's interesting there. We saw it again. We mentioned this earlier. Jennifer's not looping the high ball toss serve back. She's now pushing it. We saw, I mean, again, Jennifer's having success when she's getting Wang Chen off the table. Just like
she's kind of being able to push her back when she's being a little more aggressive on the first ball. And, I mean, sometimes she's pushing, but she's never really pushing into the forehand. It's always across to the backhand because Wang Chen's a lot more likely to avoid opening up with her backhand short pips, and she's more likely to give her a push back.
Net and edge. So match point here. Jennifer serving down 7-10. It's match point. We are in the women's semifinals. Winner will go on to play Lily Zhang in about an hour. Would it be too obvious to say that this is a crucial point? There it is. Wang Chen advances to the women's finals here on day one. Stay with us in a couple minutes. Brian Pace, head coach here at Triangle Table Tennis Center. We're doing an on-court interview, and then we'll be back in about 15 minutes with the men's finals. Matt, I'm going to sign off. We got to get the results posted on our website and on
Yeah,
Facebook.
make sure you keep checking USATT.org. All of the results are up live after every round.
Wang Chen, first I want to say congratulations on your win. One of the first things that we noticed during the match is that the battle was with you serving heavy and deep and having her loop, and you wanted to focus on counterattacking. Why did you feel like that strategy was important?
Because we were not how to play pips, and she's good against a Chinese player, and we were like a club teammate like before, so she's very familiar with my style. So when I play with her, I cannot play the normal way against her. I have to always change, change the strategy, because she's like a power player. So when I change and she feels uncomfortable, but if I'm not changing and she uses her power, it's hard to beat her.
Okay. What we also noticed is that whoever was winning the game, the other person won that game.
Yeah, the second game I was leading 8-2. I was not believe myself to winning her.
Right.
So and then the first game is same thing. I was I had 7-9-7,
Right.
and I still don't believe myself. But the last game I just told myself to beat her, to just encourage myself to win.
Right. We found that game 5, once you went up 6-1 and 7-1 and you went up big, it was no longer a way for her to get back in the game tactically, and maybe mentally that's where she knew I don't have enough time to change something to come back. Did you feel when you won game 5 that made you more comfortable?
Yes, if I'm always winning, I always like leading the game. It's more like a confident to win.
Right. Now, this format is new for us. How is this different than the normal format when it's 12 players and you play everybody over days? Is this format better for you?
I played last year. I also played national trials last year, and I won the first day. I beat the Prachi semifinal, and the final I beat the Lily Zhang. I think this way is better. Like more a challenge for all the players, and also like you save your energy. Okay. Yeah, if you play round robin, it's not good for me.
It's too difficult, too long. Yeah. Right now, I know that you have a son. Now, after this is over, if you make the team, are you planning to train abroad before you go to the World Championships, or are you just going to stay locally in New York and train?
I will stay in New York training. I have a lot of good trainer around me in New York. So just want to add one more to tell everybody I have 3 clubs in New York and New Jersey. I'm trying to develop this sport in the United States. I want everybody to support me, to support table tennis.
Fantastic. Now you have Lily in the finals. What has been your record against Lily over the times you've played her?
I beat her twice. The first time was last year national team trials final, and the second time was American Olympic trials semifinal. Okay. And I lost to her last year after Olympic trials. I was not ready for the national championships, so that time, I lost her in the semifinal.
Okay. All right, well, good luck in the finals.
Thank you.
Rest up. One take pace.